Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with another transfer talk roundup covering all the latest Villa news. We have the rumour mill well and truly spinning. We've got a Fulham player linked now, Fulham midfielder linked. We've got another forward linked, was on loan at Celtic last season. We've got developments with potential Spanish internationals and also covering the latest saga with Douglas Luiz, Weston Mckennie, and the Juventus swap deal. So before we get right into it, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, help us continue to push on and hopefully hit that 5k very, very soon. We've smashed through 4k, so we want to get to 5k as soon as possible, and get your comments in down below on your thoughts on what is happening with Aston Villa. So we've seen development potentially in this Weston Mckennie and Douglas Luiz saga. Obviously, Juventus have a valuation for Weston Mckennie. Aston Villa have a valuation for Douglas Luiz, and it's kind of matching that up if this deal is to be done. Now, Tom Colomosi, friend of the channel, hopefully going to get him on very soon, has said that there are concrete links with Douglas Luiz, looking at it being interested in going to Juventus, and also Weston Mckennie coming to Aston Villa. Now, is it going to be a swap deal involving finances, or is it going to be two separate deals? That is the question. We've seen that Juventus are prepared to offer around 25 to 30 million euros plus Weston Mckennie for Douglas Luiz. We've also seen potential Villa valuing or Juventus valuing him at around 65 million euros and offering Matthias Sule as well as Weston Mckennie. Now, would that involve finances as well? Aston Villa probably rating Douglas Luiz around about the 70 to 75 million mark. So there's probably some way off in terms of that. However, it is moving forwards and potentially looking like something could be done. Is Luiz, it doesn't hurt him to be linked to these clubs. It doesn't hurt him, his reputation and his financial value to be linked to a club like Juventus. And it doesn't necessarily hurt Villa too much in terms of if he is a player that we are potentially open to selling, it's obviously going to increase his value as well. So it is definitely one to watch. And utilizing any funds, if we were to sell him, myself and Martin talked about this on last night's fans forum. Does that open the door for negotiations for a potential Conor Gallagher move? Now, apparently, we've spoken to his representatives. Also, Tottenham are interested in his signature as well, as I'm sure a number of other clubs would be as well, should Chelsea be looking to sell. And again, the profit and sustainability rules are coming into play. Jacob Ramsey's been talked about being sold by Aston Villa as well to raise funds. Again, Tom Colomosi looking at reporting on that as well. But with Conor Gallagher, it's looking like potential 50 million that Chelsea are looking for or in that region. So if we were to generate, an additional 30 to 40 million plus Weston Mckennie for selling Douglas Luiz, would that open the door for a Conor Gallagher and us to negotiate for him and to try and get him in? And again, getting two players along with Ross Barkley for the sale of one player in Douglas Luiz. Now that is an interesting conundrum to think about, and would we be accepting of those three players for the sale of one, as in Mckennie, Gallagher, and Barkley, for one player going as in Douglas Luiz? So you let me know your thoughts in the comments, but it is gathering pace. Gallagher has said he's not going to make any decisions on his future until the end of June. I would imagine it'll be later than that if he gets into the England squad and England progress in the Euros. So this one could go on a while. This one will keep the papers spinning, keep the papers talking, especially with Tottenham linked in there too. Now, a midfielder who has been linked today with Aston Villa is Fulham midfielder Andreas Pereira. Now, he wouldn't necessarily be my choice in terms of Fulham midfielders for us to go for. Mine would be João Paulinho. But Andreas Pereira, he's a potential signing. Would he be any good? In my opinion, probably not. Tends to flatter to deceive a little bit for me. Started obviously at Manchester United, was there from 2014 to 2022 with a number of loan spells in between there with Granada, Valencia, Lazio, and Flamengo. But appeared 45 times for Manchester United, and then, as I say, numerous appearances for Granada, Valencia, Lazio, and Flamengo, and then settled on signing for Fulham in 2022 and has appeared 70 times, scoring 7 goals. He has been capped by Brazil 3 times. Initially started with Belgium in his early career, in the youth career, from under 15s to under 17s, and then from under 20s onwards has been with Brazil. And yeah, he's a good player, skillful, technical, makes good runs, can put tackles in as well. So you could see potentially why he might fit in with Unai Emery's style. Can play in different positions throughout the midfield. Can play more of a central traditional role. Can play more attacking. If we look at his SofaScore stats here, his heat map again, yeah, across the pitch, pops up in little areas. Doesn't tend to get involved too much in the game, from my opinion and what I see, but does pop up with key moments or key passes or gets into the box at certain times. But potentially good from set pieces as well. 37 games played, started 34 for Fulham, only scored 3 goals in the Premier League and missed 3 big chances. So not a great goal scorer. Does create chances though, and I think AVFC Stato put on this. I think he was about 4th or 5th in terms of chances created. Defining those chances is a difficult one, but chances created in the Premier League. So has got that creative spark in him. As I say, drops into little areas on the pitch and can pick out some nice passes. Maybe potential sort of similar player to maybe an Emi Buendia, that type of player. Scored with both feet, so 1 with the left, 2 with the right foot. 7 assists, so not too bad in terms of chance creation and goal creation. 9 big chances created as well. 79% in terms of overall accuracy, 65% in the opposition half. Now, we've seen players who've got a greater accuracy in the opposition half. He does try those difficult passes, as I say, those creative passes, but I'd maybe be looking at someone to be a little bit higher than that, particularly as we're going for Champions League football. 2.7 ball recoveries per game, so it does work, but for me, probably someone who needs to work a little bit harder. And you're looking at those successful dribbles, and the duels one, not particularly high for me. And as I say, for someone who's meant to be a real creative spark, if you're not delivering the numbers in terms of duels won and ground duels won, you need to be producing higher passing accuracy, in my opinion. You guys let me know your thoughts. For me, not a player who I would be looking at to be adding quality to our midfield. Yes, in terms of a Conor Gallagher, for me, I would say definitely yes on that side of things. But for me, Pereira, no. And I think they're looking at sort of 25, 30 million. Not a player for me. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, a player, as I've seen today, reported by Graham Bailey, Mario Hermoso is wanted by a number of clubs. Has indicated he wants to leave Atletico Madrid and wants to play in the Premier League. Now, Unai Emery has been a long time admirer of Mario Hermoso, and it looks like Villa are the likely destination for this player. Now, this would be a really, really good move. Can play central defence, can play defensive midfield, and can play left side as well. So he would be an excellent versatile player who would be excellent for our side. And we know in terms of free transfers, in terms of cut price deals, what Monchi and Emery like to do. And we've seen the success that Villa have had, not just Emery and Monchi, but Aston Villa with Boubacar Kamara have had with free transfer deals. And this player has got Champions League experience, so will be an ideal fit for me. But we are also competing with Napoli, West Ham, and obviously Newcastle, and obviously Atletico Madrid, who do want to keep him. So there are a number of high-profile clubs looking for his signature. But Champions League football for Aston Villa, Premier League, Unai Emery, etc., is an attractive proposal. Now, finally, actually, a couple of players that we're going to look at. Paulo Dybala, not necessarily specifically linked with Aston Villa, but there are conflicting reports as well as to him, as whether he wants to stay at Roma or whether he wants to move on and test himself in the Premier League. Now, this would be probably a little bit of a wild card deal, and again, number of clubs, the West Hams, the Newcastles, the Evertons even of this world, potentially looking at this type of player. But has had injury hit time over the last few years, but has had a fairly consistent season last season. Very, very, very highly rated. We know what qualities he's got. 30 years of age now, But if you're looking for experience, if you're looking for tactical know-how, if you're looking for real quality in big moments, then he could be a real quality player for us. Can play attacking midfield, can play striker, can play in across the right hand side and cut in onto his left foot. Has started 25 games this season in Serie A, played 28 total matches, 17 of the weeks, 13 goals. So really does know where the goal is and missed 5 big chances. Scored 11 from inside the box, 2 from outside of the box. All on his left foot, so heavily left-footed. Knows what he's good at, knows what he can do. 9 assists as well for the season and 10 big chances created. So a really productive season for Dybala and real quality. Now, could he cope with the physical rigors of the Premier League? Could he cope with injuries and everything like that? Would he be used fairly sparingly, maybe in Champions League games or big games that Villa have? Possibly. You're looking at passing accuracy as well, 90% in his own half, 75% in the opposition half, so considerably higher than a player like Pereira, but we know the quality that Dybala's got. Overall accuracy at 84%. He's obviously not particularly good in terms of the tackling. That's not why he's there for, but 3 ball recoveries per game does show that he works hard for the team. 48% in terms of ground duels won. So for a player of his type, excellent in terms of that setup. So for me, could be a real good wild card shout. Now wages could be an issue. Would want high wages, I would imagine, but for a cut price fee, maybe sort of 10 to 15 million euros, you're probably looking at being able to get someone like that in. Again, there will be a number of other clubs interested in him, and I would probably suggest the likes of, the in quotes big six, the Man Uniteds of this world, the Chelseas of this world, the Tottenhams of this world could potentially be interested in a player of this quality. But could Villa maybe be a shout for him? It has been reported that we would definitely be interested in Paulo Dybala. So maybe a watch this space situation with him. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments on him too. Now, this is nowhere near in the league of Paulo Dybala, but Adam Eder has also been linked. Now, could this be in a backup situation? Potentially, John Duran is on the radar of Chelsea, or we actually know he's on the radar of Chelsea, but could potentially leave. Now, could Adam Eder be a player who we might bring in as a backup option and potentially would be happy as a backup option to Ollie Watkins, who could learn from him, who could come on in games and maybe change it up a little bit? I don't know. You let me know your thoughts. Did have a good time at Celtic on loan from the new year. Played 15 times on loan at Celtic, scoring 8 goals, and is a Republic of Ireland international. Did come through very highly rated at Norwich. Career's probably stalled a little bit, but has come into the fore with this spell at Celtic, and obviously helped them win the league and cup double. So has done well there. If you look at his time there, 15, as I say, 15 games played, only 5 starts, so predominantly came off the bench as an impact player, scored 8 times, missed 7 big chances. Now you have to take it into consideration that the Scottish League, there's probably only 2 or 3 big games that he's playing there, but did score in the Old Firm derby. 8 goals from inside the box, 3 with his head, 1 with his left, 4 with his right. So he's capable of scoring with both feet and obviously good in the air as well. 2 assists, 73% in terms of passing accuracy, 82% in his own half, 69% in the opposition half. And aerial duels won 64% from 0.9 per game. So could potentially be a different option for us. I'd probably want to see more, and I'd certainly want to see what sort of price tag he would be going for. I wouldn't be looking to pay any more than probably 8-9 million for someone like that. And but it's a difficult spot to try and find someone who has the attributes and the qualities that you might need for a backup striker, who would be happy to be on the bench and used maybe sparingly at certain times. Now, does that mean Cameron Archer comes in and plays that role? He's a completely different player to Adam Eder. Could you carry both of those players and operate with those 3 strikers? Emery has said he's going to assess and sit down and assess all of the young players and all the returning players that are coming back from loans. So that's an interesting one with Adam Eder. But yeah, it's for me, I'd probably be looking at Iheanacho or something like that on a free. But again, wages might be an issue with him. He's probably on quite a high wage, and we need to look at that, because he's probably on Premier League wages from Leicester. Obviously played in the Championship last season and wouldn't want a pay cut on that. Adam Ida's probably a lot cheaper. Do we want to lose Duran even? We talked about this last night. So there's a lots of things to take into consideration, but we definitely do need, I would say, a backup striker to Ollie Watkins. But it's a difficult balance with the quality that that player needs to possess and whether they would be happy sitting on the bench and being that backup to Ollie Watkins. But as I say, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm hopefully going to put all these questions to Tom Colomassi tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be doing the interview with him and releasing that tomorrow or Friday. So do keep your lookout for that. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. As I say, we've smashed through 4,000 subscribers, on the road now to 5,000. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, get your comments in below, your thoughts on these players. Paulo Dybala, Andreas Pereira, Adam Ida, Mario Hermoso, Conor Gallagher, Weston McKennie. The names are endless at this moment in time. Thank you everyone for watching, and as always, remember, we all follow the Villa.